What are you? Are you the holy grail of cheap, affordable 1080p 60fps HDMI capture? Let's find out. So there you are. You want a Twitch stream. You want to record your gameplay, you're all set, you think, yes, I've got the computer, everything's sorted, I've made my Twitch account, I'm going to take over the world. It's that simple. Not quite. The problem is there are so many products in the market dedicated to recording, streaming, capturing, all those buzzwords that you've heard. You may know what some of it means, you may not know what some of it means. You've looked on Amazon, you've looked on eBay, you've seen the name Elgato, you've seen Chocolate Gato. And you think, well, what's the best product? Elgato, it must be Elgato. When I'm searching for HDMI capture, streaming, that's the name that comes up. But then you start looking at the cost. You've already spent a fortune. This isn't just for streamers. YouTube might be your main output. This applies to both capturing game footage and a camera, simultaneously or individually or anything in between. There was a recent buzz about new USB 3 and USB 2 capture devices, dongles, tiny little devices that were coming to the market, priced as low as $5. Now that's $5 or pounds or Canadian, whatever they spend over there. Now a lot of things sound too good to be true, but it turns out that some of these devices actually work really well. The ones that I'm going to show you today have pros and cons. Let's put this to bed right now. What did I spend on these two devices? £25. For an outlay of only £25 at the time of making this video, you can get yourself HDMI pass-through with a capture of 1080p. Now that's 4K pass-through. If you combine these two items together in the way that I use it, you can connect a games console to your television and also to your computer. So what that means is while you are streaming or while you're recording your gameplay, you can capture all your footage to your computer while you're playing your console or whatever it is on your TV as you normally would. Now, the pros and the cons, what are we talking about here? The first pro is obviously the cost. I've got the cost down to £25. It's the cheapest that I have found for an HDMI pass-through with the USB 3 capture. Specifically USB 3, although USB 2 capture is possible. The good news is both items are just plug and play. You connect the HDMI split, which takes one HDMI input and simultaneously splits it to two outputs. That's connected with a USB power lead. So with the supplied cable, you can plug that in any USB outlet. It doesn't take a lot of power, so you'll find that the one in the back of your TV works. That's enough to power it, because that's where the device usually sits. So the PC side is where the USB 3 dongle comes in. From there, you take the second HDMI output from the splitter into one end of the dongle, and the dongle goes into a USB 3 port on your PC. You open up OBS, you open up whatever streaming software or capture software that you're using, and things should work. And it does work really well. There is unfortunately a little bit of false advertising at play. This device on Amazon and eBay claims that it does 1080p capture at 60 frames a second. What they mean is that it can capture up to 1080p. Yes, it does have 1080p capture, but only at 30 FPS. If you want to capture 1080p, it's 30 FPS. If you want to capture 720p, you will get the full 60 FPS. If I'm capturing VR, I will set it to 720p, 60 FPS, and the picture still looks great. 1080p, 30 FPS. When you just want that tiny bit more detail, I mean, there's all kinds of games, RPGs, puzzle games, things that don't necessarily need the fluid 60 FPS. 1080p 30 is just fine. Certainly if you're capturing a lot of console games, they're only going to be running at 30 FPS anyway. Now I anticipated the cons to be really long for this. I just found one or two specific little niggles to my setup that I managed to get round. I realised what they were and I figured it out really quickly. So this one could be to do with the fact that I have a cheaper television. On the HDMI splitter, if I have my console that's specifically outputting a 4K picture through the HDMI splitter to the TV that I have, it can tend to drop the picture with a sort of blip every few minutes or so. Sometimes you won't see it for half an hour or an hour, and then you just get this momentary drop. The problem is my television is really cheap. That's my main display for watching TV and games on. It's not the most expensive television, and I do have HDMI compatibility issues sometimes anyway. Don't write it off on that because your mileage will vary, and it's almost certainly because I have quite a cheap television. The only other odd thing I noticed was I have a PlayStation VR connected to my PS4 Pro. When I connected the PSVR output to the splitter and split that to the television and the PC, I would find that with the PlayStation VR off, now that's when you're normally just playing a game, but the PSVR is in bypass mode and all it's doing is sending the signal through from the PlayStation. I would find that you would sometimes notice sort of static dots in the dark areas of the image. Now that's a really specific case as well. This might not be something you experience, but I noticed it. So the simple way to get around that is when you're not playing a VR game, just bypass the PSVR, unplug it, connect your PS4 directly into the splitter, everything's fine. So I did mention 4K pass-through. The splitter does do 4K pass-through. Yeah! It's not perfect. You don't get HDR. So you will not get your HDR pass-through. Much like the original first generation PSVR box, you don't get the HDR pass-through. And obviously, if you're playing offline, you would obviously have to just plug your console back into the TV directly. And that really is the extent of it. That's the extent of the cons here. There's no more I can really say here. For £25 combined, 1080p capture at 30 FPS and an HDMI splitter that will give you all the conveniences of more expensive Elgato devices for £25. Have I said £25 enough? £25! £25! So the HDMI splitter on its own is £10. That's what I paid for it. £10 delivered, and the USB 3 capture dongle was £15. So I'll try and provide some links below if you want to go and check these things out for yourself. Problem with these things is they change price all the time. With this global pandemic we've been having, I've seen some of these devices double in price. People are stuck at home trying new things, you know, finally deciding to Twitch stream and record things for YouTube, and it's great, but it does drive the prices up. I thought the best thing to do would just be to give you some real life examples of me using this on Twitch, playing through the HDMI splitter into the USB 3 capture.
Oh no! I'm behind you, This is actually kind of fun. This map is pretty funny. Yes! That's pretty cool. Oh, that's kind of sweet. Hang on. Oh, it looks so Tomb Raider. Do you reckon I can hide here? Yes. Whoosh!
And of course, as I've said before, I'm now on Twitch a lot. You can come by, check me out, twitch.tv/JamesShape. I'll do some more streaming, camera, audio, Twitch, whatever related stuff soon. Stuff that involves gaming, capturing and all the rest of it. Tutorials, whatever it may be. Reviews. Is this a review? Have I just done a review? Anyway, thanks for stopping by. If you like it, give me a like. If you subscribe, I would love you even more. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and I'll see you on Twitch. Bye!